in studio with us, and I asked you the question, why is this a passion point of yours?
Yeah. So and I said to you that firstly I think I'm a Pan-Africanist at heart, and I want to see people who were previously disadvantaged and didn't have access to education getting certain education that can help them prosper.
Yeah.
And also representation. That book is written in a language that anyone can understand. I mean, there's a lady who wrote to me in 2021. She had read the book.
Yes.
She said to me she's a cleaner at the municipality. She's earning 8,000 rands, and she didn't know that she could buy property. So she bought a property, put tenants there, didn't move into the property, continued to stay with her parents at home. And then she writes to me again after a year and says, "Witness, I've saved over 60,000 rands. I want you to know that I'm going to buy another property." So stories like that show us that there are people that can literally afford to invest, but the fact that they don't see their earnings as money that's enough for them to invest, they don't. And what we don't understand is that our salaries and our incomes, they're a seed. What's that seed for? The seed is for us to take and plant into investments that are going to give us cash flow and passive income later. And life is not designed in such a way that we're going to work forever. At some point we'll stop working. What needs to be carrying us is the stuff that we've invested in. So investing in knowledge that young people can grasp, and even older people can grasp, people that never had that kind of information can grasp, it becomes a passion of mine. My grandmother was a street sweeper, but she was earning over 15,000 rands from her shebeen in Alexander.
Wow.
Right? As a street sweeper, she earned less than 1.5. But as a shebeen queen, she earned over 15,000 rands a month. But at the end of her career, someone defrauded her of 500,000 rands because of lack of education. My grandmother can read, my grandmother can write. And she thought to herself, I want to invest so my kids can have money in the future. But she didn't know that there are certain things you don't invest in, right? And she didn't even involve any of the kids, not alone me. I was too young in any case, right? But when I look back and look at that, I realized that there's so much that needs to be done when it comes to education around building a business, because that's the cornerstone of wealth creation. It's either you work on a business, you earn a salary, or you run a business, you earn dividends. And with what you earn, you either invest in other people's businesses, that would be shares, or projects that you invest in that other people are doing, or you are investing in a property investment portfolio. Those have always been the cornerstones of wealth creation for centuries, from the time of Jesus. It says, the Bible says Jesus was born in a manger, right? But it says the inn where he was supposed to be born was full. That's why he was born in a stable. Someone was making money when the Messiah was being born. So Airbnb existed then, because that's exactly what the Bible says. It says the inn where he was supposed to be born was full. So I look at that and I read it, I'm like, this chap was making money while the Messiah is being born. And all of that is still happening today. There are formulas. Why would we want to change something that's already established and it's there and it's proven and we can use? And one of the reasons I wrote the book was because a lot of people were messaging me during 2020 saying, "Witness, what can I do?" Because I was writing a lot of posts, sharing ideas around how people can survive lockdown and all of that. And I realized some of these questions need to be literally answered in book format, because there isn't that one answer that's going to save anybody. There has to be a series of answers and information that allows people to then develop themselves and grow. But I also wrote the book for my daughter that I thought, should I catch COVID? I wrote that book in 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, because I thought to myself, should I catch COVID and die? My young daughter needs to know what her father's perspective is. She need not hear it from somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I wrote that book.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always ask that question because, this kind of passion doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from seeing your grandmother, and it comes from having an understanding that it can be done. And then the desire to make sure that everybody, it's like once your eyes get opened, you're like,
you want to show everyone.
Hey, have you seen this? Do you know this? And so, yes, the book is called It's More Than Just Money. Witness Mdaka, a guide to escaping the rat race and building generational wealth. And you'll let us know in just a second where we can get it.
Yes.
But let's finish up our conversation about property to let.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, okay, you've decided then you would like to get tenants for your property. You've got an investment property, whether it's the several tenants in one building or just the one apartment. Then should you get somebody to help you manage that property?
Yes. In the beginning, also, no. And this is the reason why I say this. In the beginning, you need to get your hands dirty.
Okay.
And understand exactly what is happening in your business so that percentage that you pay to a property manager, you know exactly why you are paying it. Because I've seen the minute you say to people, get a property manager to manage it on your behalf and let him charge you a 10% fee, they think that's too much money to give to somebody else. But once you get your hands dirty and understand why, how much time that saves you, how much trouble that saves you, that certain tenants will be better suited if they are chosen by a property manager that's experienced, that's been around, that understands the market. That saves you a lot of time and that saves you a lot of hassles. But at the same time, it's also important for you to do it yourself so that you understand what's going on in your business. Because remember, we said it's a business. If you don't get involved and run it, the minute you don't have a property manager to do it for you, you won't be able to scale and grow your business. And being within the business teaches you to also understand different aspects and different pain points that you need to be correcting, right? I've seen, especially people that are affluent, what they do is they buy handover. 20 years later or 5 years later even, the person realizes, but I'm overpaying in this portfolio. It's not even making me any money.
Yeah.
It's not making you money because you're not focused on it. Whatever you give yourself to will give itself back to you.
So this is your business. This isn't passive income.
What? My
No, if you purchase
a
property.
Yeah. So it's a business.
Because I mean, I'm asking that specifically because I think a lot of people think that you'll just purchase it, put someone in there, as you say, buy handover.
Yeah.
Ka-ching.
Passive income is not passive. You know, the biggest lie that is told in society is that there's something called passive income. Yes, it's there. But you actively have to look after that passive income. And how do you look after it? It's like when you have a cow, right? You just buy a cow and just go collect milk only. Or you look after the cow, you help it graze, you buy certain nutrients for it to be, well taken care of, for it to be able to deliver the milk that you're looking for. That milk is the passive income. But the taking care of the cow is your part and your job. Same thing. The property produces the milk. It's your cash cow, if we can put it that way. But it needs to be taken care of. It needs to be looked after. It needs to be maintained. It needs to be renovated. All of those things have to go into mind. And you obviously have to pay taxes, pay the municipality, and pay all sorts of costs that are associated with owning property. But when you are focused on it, you are able to see where you can improve and how you can get it better with each property that you buy. Unlike just buying and handing it over.
Sure.
Buying something and handing it over does not teach you anything. It's just a buying process, right? A lot of people in South Africa own property. If you go to the township, majority of the people there own the properties. Are they wealthy? Of course not. Why are they not wealthy? Their mindset around running those properties is not the same as one would have if one is an investor and is focused on growing that portfolio.
Very, very interesting. Amahle on Twitter says, is it wise to sell your house that you've just had for under a year of purchase, given the affordability issue caused by endless interest rate hikes?
Yeah, selling property is part of property business.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like closing a business is part of business. When you've bought something and it's not doing well and you can sell it to get something else that does well, then you have to do it.
Right.
But selling for the sake of selling, I don't know, right? It depends on one's financial position and situations. There are many ways in which one can literally, for instance, we run a company, one of our companies, we rent property from people who cannot afford their bonds anymore. So we rent your property, we put it on Airbnb, we operate it, we pay your bond for you. Because we know that we've got the skills and what's required for us to live. Where do they live?
Yeah.
They rent it out and move to a cheaper apartment.
Oh, okay.
So you are in an apartment, you're paying 10,000. There's an apartment where you can pay 5. You move there and go pay 5 and rent out that one. That's continuing to pay itself while you are recovering financially.
Yes.
Because that's what the purpose of this whole thing is.
Yeah.
Some of these things are temporary. And people like to make permanent decisions in temporary situations.
Yeah.
Selling is permanent.
Yeah.
Right? But overcoming a storm is something that's temporary. Sometimes a storm financially comes and it's temporary. And you can just move, rent it out, and rent a cheaper apartment. If you're paying 10, you go to a one that you pay 5 and let somebody else take over that bond and pay it for on your behalf.
I mean, I hope
that property continues to be yours.
Yeah. I hope that gives you some insights, Amahle. Adam is our last question here. How does one go about renting out your house? I suppose that's renting out your own house.
Their own house, yeah. I mean, there are different platforms where one could actually start. You can enlist the services of an agent because those people are using different platforms to rent out their properties, from Property 24, Private Property, which is my favorite. Some of my friends are at Private Property. So that's one of the platforms that are popular in the country that one can use. And then there are other platforms online. Facebook Marketplace is one of the places where you can find tenants. Literally being actively advertising that property. But like I say, the easiest is just to get an agent to find the right person for you. They will screen that person and make sure the person can even afford the property. And then once they've put the tenant in, you pay them 1 month's rental. You continue managing your property. If the tenant moves out, you go back to the same process. But meanwhile, you're also learning how you can do that.
I mean, those are the steps that are simple steps.
Yeah.
It's not always easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not easy.
Even
I'm speaking from a position of privilege.
Good for you. But just to kind of, think about expectations, because I think the expectation is it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, it's done. But it can be very trying to find good people, to find the right tenants, and to be able to put that together. This is a conversation we need to carry on.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, as we wrap up, Witness Mdaka, where can we find It's More Than Just Money?
Okay. The first place you can find it is online, www.witnessmdaka.com. There you'll also find information about some of the events we are doing across the country in all 9 provinces, where we're just meeting with people, conscientizing them with entrepreneurship, helping them invest in property, and also engaging them with the knowledge that we have. Not only me, but different people that are in different industries just coming in to share knowledge specifically with people of color. And then they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I'm there. I'm ready to share. And then they can also WhatsApp our office on 0627665612 or call us on 010-023-6001.
Fantastic. It's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing.
What a pleasure. There we go, wrapping things up, a conversation.